So, alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the FSL Singapore Malaysia 2020 qualifiers. My name is Aries. I hope that you guys have been looking forward to this as much as I have been. So, amidst all the situation that's going on right now with the coronavirus, especially in Southeast Asia, we have taken measures to make sure that everyone stays safe. So this is going to be an online qualifiers, obviously. I'm not sure about how the finals is going to go down. We'll update you guys as well. So if you want to check that out, you can head on down to FSL social media, especially on Facebook, as well as the rest, to find out more about that. But looks like we've already gotten game 1 underway. So without further ado, let's just dive right in. Let's just not waste any more time. It looks like the teams are already ready. So let's just jump straight into it. Alright, so there we go. Our first game of the day, or rather of this evening, depending on where you guys are watching from. It's actually going to be an interesting draft because we've got team that's going to be playing on the blue side, and then we have the ThemyAce that's playing on the red end. And there we go. Finally got the audio up for you guys. Ratio is a bit off, but I'm guessing that we can definitely get that fixed pretty soon. But for now, this is how the game will look like. We've got interesting draft happening right now. We're gonna see Ling as well as Claude getting banned out, whereas on the side of ThemyAce we have Valor as well as Kerry getting banned out, and obviously team from Singapore we have the ThemyAce, as the name suggests. I'm guessing from Malaysia. We have a Grok, Diggy as well as Granger pickup. Pretty interesting to see Diggy get picked up as well. We know, coming from the NPL, Diggy definitely does have a lot more priority picks. Really good against a lot of CC. You can see the Selena really getting picked up, same as the Sylvana. Both have damaging or rather punishing CCs if your carries are caught out of position. And then we also have an interesting pickup in the Uranus, which is something I wouldn't have expected coming early into this game. Obviously, with the introduction of Atlas, if you play ranks, you would know that you don't see that much Uranus now. But that being said, Atlas will not be available. So, or not available, I wouldn't say not available, but not allowed into the draft. So that's the reason why we won't be seeing Atlas for today. You gotta wait for 2 weeks till the heroes have been fully released before we see Atlas. So tomorrow will mark the 2 weeks. So I'll get a word from the organizers as to whether or not we'll allow Atlas tomorrow. Not sure about that. But for now, we'll definitely know that it will not be available today. So we'll be streaming 2 games today, or rather this evening. We'll actually be seeing this matchup between team and the ThemyAce, and then after that we'll see Lilith up against Alpha Gaming. So the Alpha Gaming, I'm pretty excited for that. Alpha Gaming, they've been recruiting for quite a bit. I've seen them promoting on Facebook and trying to get new members, so I'm excited to see what kind of lineup they will put up. But for now, team gonna be completing their lineup with the Terisla as well as the Nana. And so they've got a pretty squishy lineup, I would say. Their backline is really squishy. They have decent amount of CC with the Terisla as well as the Nana and the Diggy with the auto alarm bomb. They have Nana's CC as well as Teresla's ultimate. So it's quite punishing, I would say, if you get drawn to a fight. But if you look at the way that the side of the ThemyAce have drawn up, it's pretty good as well. I mean, you've got a Hellcat, you've got a Kufra, which I'm pretty surprised. Kufra coming late into this draft. A lot of flame shots across the board, right? 5. So we're gonna see the Grok is the Diggy. So very aggressive lineup, I would say, coming in from the side of team. So yeah, this is how the draft will look like for now. We've got Swan getting played from Nana, Ing playing the Granger, Diggy played by Sun, We've got Terisla played by Blood, and Hera's gonna be playing the Grok. Whereas on the side of the MLBB, it looks like Diana as well as Aiza will be playing the Selena and Kufa respectively. Savannah played by Jamila, Tempaka played by Hellcut, as well as Uranus played by Sarah. Hopefully I got the names right.
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed!
So this is the draft that we will be running, and obviously I'm very excited to see how the first game will go on. Shout out to Yahoo as well as Super Solid, and last but not least, we also have to give a big shout out to Dreamcore for making this possible. Remember, this is probably organized by FSL, but here we are, first game of the day, Dream Team up against the ThemyAce. And looks like we're going to be seeing a bit of a mid rotation coming in from the Diggy as well as the Granger. Doing pretty decently in mid. Oh, Kufa taking quite a bit of shot, has to be careful. But here we go, jumping right in Selena. Trying with the Abyssal Arrow, not going to be landing on anyone for now. Terisla handling the Uranus really well in the bot lane. Quite expectedly, I mean Terisla is just really punishing down the bot lane by himself, or rather by herself. And then you just got Hera just up the top lane, up against this Sylvana, having a little bit of support from the Granger with the Rhapsody. An interesting update though, for those who are not aware, Rhapsody now can be interrupted with stuns. So that, for those Granger players out there, remember to take note, you're not that OP anymore. That being said, Granger is still a very balanced marksman. She's still one of the more stable marksmen per se. That being said, marksmen are generally more important now. With a lot of nerfs onto the mages, you don't see them, putting as much burst damage as they used to, especially coming into the new update. Sylvana might get ganked right on top. Has to be aware about the positioning and good map awareness to actually back off for a little bit. Molina stun not being put off. Meanwhile, Blood taking a lot of damage in bot lane. Selena, I think Selena actually managed to land it. They actually do use the flame shot, and that's gonna allow them to secure that first blood down in the bot lane. They should be able to get this tier 1 tower. Should be a swap as well for team onto the top side, but a rival coming in from Terisla. So Blood's gonna make sure that tower stands for now. Kufra diving a little bit too deep in my opinion, but doesn't get punished for that.
Initiate retreat.
Meanwhile, top lane, Ing will secure with the rest of the team the first turret of the game. While Selena and the rest of MY will find a little bit of trouble trying to push right onto the base now. So Sarah as well as Diana can't really get to Chipaka in time. That's gonna allow them to get the return kill, and that's gonna be the turtle as well. So a good follow through from team. Uranus diving in a little bit too late. I think you should just give the turtle right there in that situation. I mean, there really isn't. It's a really tough spot to be in, especially for Uranus. Jumping in like that without the rest of the team doesn't really help much. It would have been really worth it if they did manage to steal the turtle away. But Jamila doing a good job at split pushing, making use of the situation, for kind of revealing themselves at the turtle pit. And she does get the top tower for her team. Meanwhile, Blood will trade it off. So 4 minutes in, we do see team leading just by a little bit. They've got 2 kills, they've got the turtle. But generally, the ThemyAce is still in it for the long run. Good stun coming in from Sylvana. Hellcut does get caught out, and that's gonna be the Diggy. Nana's ultimate coming in, landing a big shot onto both of them. Aisha barely making it out alive. Selena will use the Abyssal Arrow just to get her team out of the way. And Aisha, that is a little bit too close for comfort. If the auto lump bomb actually had landed a little bit, just a little bit further onto the tier 2 tower, that could have just picked her up. So you do see the graph definitely very heavily in favor of Team, and they definitely do want to catch someone out in the bot lane, but Soon just doing a really good job of making sure that it's going to be impossible for them to even catch anyone out at this point.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
Grok split pushing onto the top side. And this is actually quite a tough game for Uranus in my opinion, right? Because he doesn't really have someone that he can jump on. I mean, he does have a bit of resistance, but you look at the lineup coming in from Team, they have so much magical damage, right? They have the Diggy, they have the Nana, and the only one person that he can really thank is the Granger. And Granger is not even the bulk of the problem right now. Looks like they want to go for a big engagement right now. Krufra, really good with the Krufra's Revenge, but I don't think the Tyrant's Revenge will be enough. They do get 2 kills off the bat. And Grok's not even there to join the fight. Grok is actually all by herself. She's just pushing top, while the rest of the team just crushing all this catch out. Sylvana's gonna jump right in, but there's no follow up from the rest of the teammates. That's gonna be an easy kill to Jamila. And now they might be able to get Diggy. No! The Kufra actually misses the second skill, and that's not gonna be available for them. 20 seconds before he comes back up, or she comes back up. Meanwhile, Hera's going to be able to secure that top lane with the Granger. Terizla's going to be pushing onto the bottom. There's nothing this Uranus can do against her. And we haven't seen a huge penalty zone coming out from Terizla just yet. When that penalty zone comes in, it's going to cancel all the effectiveness that Sylvana has. Because she's going to be able to man-fight this Sylvana. Doesn't really matter how, Jamila tries to break this Terizla down. As long as the Terizla stands her ground, I find it just so tough for Sylvana to break Blood down. And that's without the rest of the damage coming in from the rest of Team, right? You have the Diggy with the Alolan Bomb, you got Nana with the first skill, you got Granger with for D, she's got Death Sonata, you got Grok with the Power of Nature. And there's just so much burst damage available on the side of Team that it's gonna be hard for anyone on the side of the MLBB to even soak up that amount of damage. Even with the Krufa by, the Uranus side. They find another gank onto Sylvana in their own jungle, and this is where things get really scary. Look at the amount of damage coming up. Nana's just gonna drop a casual ulti in with the Reds for D, gets another kill onto the Kufra. And now they have 2 choices, right? Either defend top or bottom. And in this case, it's either way they're gonna lose a turret. And to make things worse, looks like they're gonna push down the mid lane. Aisha, 3 more seconds. Grok just gonna be soaking up that Abyssal Arrow. And remember, Grok, when she's doing the first skill, when she's charging up her first skill, she's like immune to CC, so she can just stand in front, soak up all the Abyssal Arrows that the Selena's throwing out. And worst come to worst, they can just use Diggy's ultimate to just get them out of trouble. So Selena's Abyssal Arrow gonna be landing onto the Diggy, but they're not gonna be able to follow up on that. Having a little issue breaking this Terizla down. They might be able to do so, and yes, they will. So finally, they do find a much needed gank in the bot lane. A little bit of an overextend from Terizla, if I can say so. With that way, Aisha taking quite a bit of damage. Meanwhile, you can see both teams putting a lot of focus down onto the bot lane, because that's where the Lord has come up. Hauka doing a little bit of a split pushing while Sylvana will clear up the bottom lane, push out those creeps. try to apply a bit of pressure in the bot lane. Maybe, hopefully, Team will review themselves and they can go for a lot. But meanwhile, Qualifiers are already jumping onto the back line. They want to get this DG right here. But time reversal will be used. Meanwhile, Grok using the ultimate. Aisha taking quite a bit of damage right here. First one to go down will be her. Jamila gets pulled back by the Digi. Meanwhile, top lane getting pushed up by Terisla. And that's gonna summon Uranus as well as Hellcat to push her back. Meanwhile, the rest of Team is gonna be able to secure this lot. It's gonna be a no contest. And they probably will get the mage buff. But that's gonna be the blue buff coming onto Team as well. Doing a good job at securing that. And look at that, they're just gonna use Death Sonata right in the face of the MLBB. Selena once again throwing an Abyssal Arrow. They might be able to catch something right here. Qualifiers charging up first skill, but not really landing on anyone. He has Magic Ball, but there's just not enough damage coming in for the MLBB. They're doing a really good job at zoning them out. Look at that, they're just gonna stuff everything out, wait for Lot to come in the mid lane. It is the first Lot, so they should take this down pretty easily, but look at that, Team just doing a good job. Teresa jumping in, penalty zone right onto the Qualifiers. They will blow her up. Lord's pushing right in. Another burst damage coming from Aang. That critical strike from Death Sonata will secure the job. And they're gonna wipe out the Hellcat. It's gonna be a team wipe right here. A Savage. And that's gonna be game 1 coming in from the side of Team.
Victory!
And that pretty much is it. Game 1 going in Team's favor. So that was a pretty straightforward game coming up on Team, right? They did an absolutely fantastic job controlling the mid lane, ganking at the right time. So let's take a look at the stats, shall we? Because it was pretty much quite one-sided per se coming into the mid game and late game onwards. I mean, you can't really blame the MLBB because Team just did a fantastic job at controlling the whole game. They did lose the first blood. Ironically, coming into blood from the bottom lane, she was actually ganked out by the entire team of the MLBB, and Selena just did an absolute fantastic job at controlling the bot lane, but it took too long to break that first tier tower down, and that was thanks to, or no thanks I would say, coming in from blood. She had the rival, she delayed the push coming in from the MLBB. They were not able to get her a second time. They didn't get the tower fast enough, and Team just had the faster rotation from there. They got the top tower, and then afterwards they controlled the entire game from there. They got a couple of ganks off the Sylvana, got a couple of ganks off the, I believe it was Hellcat. And if you look at the draft coming in from the MLBB, they didn't really have a marksman, so there was no late game element available for them. It's a really early game draft, don't get me wrong. They have the Qualifiers, they have the Selena, they have the Hellcat. So if they could have gotten that early ball, that early snowball running, that could have been a really good draft, because you have plenty of damage coming from the Abyssal Arrow. Then you've got Hellcat, you got Darkness Falls, and then you've got so much burst potential coming in from your team. But when you face up against a lineup like a Team where it's so balanced and they have so much available on the entire draft, you have the damage coming from Nana, you have Digi who's able to negate any CC with the time reversal, and then you also have the Grok who's not only a really decent tank. If you look at what Hera actually built, she actually went for Queen's Wing, so she's got not only tankiness in her, she's got sustain, she got damage because of the base that's coming up from Grok, and you combine that with the burst damage coming up from the Terisla, who actually went Bloodlust X, and then she went into the Blade of Despair, so she's going a lot of damage. So the entire lineup on the side of Team just does so well against the MLBB, and that's only the mid game portion. So it just came down to decisiveness of Team being able to blow them up early game and then being able to take it from there. So we'll go for a short 5 minutes break, but I'm guessing that when we're back, we're going to game 2. I'm sure they will be swapping sides. So MyAce will go into the blue side, and then we'll see Team go onto the red side, and hopefully Team or rather the MyAce will be the comeback. Remember, this is going to be a best of 3 series, so only the finals is going to be a best of 5. We'll go for a short break, but when we're back, we'll give you more MLBB. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys had a really quick toilet break, because we are about to get game 2 started underway right now. Hopefully you guys did manage to catch up game 1. So just a brief update, Team actually did manage to pick up game 1 against the MyAce, who had a quite an unorthodox draft, I would say. So let's get game 2 underway. Alright, so here we go. The draft already started. The team names are actually on the wrong side, so let me just change that up. So we've got Team that's playing on the red side, and then we've got the MyAce that's actually playing on the blue side. So there we go. That's gonna be updated right now. That's gonna be it. Team currently playing on the red, and they've banned out both the Link as well as Claude. So similar draft coming to game 1. Same goes for the MyAce. They banned out both the carry as well as the Valor. So I mean, no surprises there, right? Valor's just something that, in my opinion, it's really good. You know, with Flame Shot, he's able to just take any hero on at level 1 because of his passive. You know, he's got the stun, he's got the double shots coming in, you've got Flame Shot on top of it, and it just gets so annoying to deal with. And then you've got his ultimate, which just allows him to get out of any CC. So even if you got Selena that lands a Abyssal Arrow, or even if, like, for example, like a Moskov, right? If a Blade of Despair, he's just able to just get out because of his ultimate. So I don't see a reason why not to ban him out. Meanwhile, on this side of Team, I can guess why they want to ban out Ling. If you look at the heroes that they play with, you know, you've got Diggy, you've got heroes with Nana as well. Heroes that don't really do well when they're able to have opponents that can get close to them really quick. That's something like a Link with his ultimate. You know, he's able to just jump on top of them. He doesn't really need much CC, right? Because he's got plenty of damage in his kit. So this is one of the reasons why they want to ban him out. That's just a possibility. But for now, it looks like the MyAce, they have to do something right here. They have seen what, you know, Team are able to put out. And for now, looks like we've got a Grok getting picked up as well. So looks like we're gonna see Grok getting picked up. We see Rafael also getting picked up. Same goes for Sylvana. So the MyAce is really pulling a lot of focus onto that Sylvana, which is pretty interesting because it's something that I wouldn't prioritize. I think she's a pretty decent hero, but she's not something that I would say it's a must to have in the draft. But it's fine, it could be a comfort hero, so that's still available. But once again, similar draft coming up from this side of Team, but this time around, instead of picking up the Nana, they pick up the Selena. So both works pretty much the same, where you have a stun, you know, you have plenty of burst damage in the kit, but Selena's definitely a way more dangerous hero to deal with, because, you know, Selena's just a really busty assassin, whereas Nana's kind of more of that support mage role. Both fits the bill if you look at the way Team play, right? They have plenty of CC in their lineup, so it's absolutely almost similar, I would say, to what we saw coming from game 1. But this time around, instead of pick up the Grok, because the MI team took it, kind of denied them the Grok, they will pick up the Hylos. So it's still fine, right? You still got AoE damage with the aura. You still got the tankiness in that both the Grok and Hylos are both aren't the squishiest tank out there. And then you've got damage in the kit. So that's going to be the draft available for both teams. We're going to see the Roger, Rafaela, Sylvana, Lapu Lapu as well as the Grok. Whereas on the side of Team, they're going to be playing the Diggy, Granger, Selena, Terisla, and Hylos. So there we go. Right now you've got team as well. The rest can be playing on the red side. Well, we got the MLBB playing on the blue side. Got Hylos right down the middle, gonna be clearing up the lane, but Selina's gonna jump straight for the buff, which is fine. That's gonna give Hylos that level 2. Gonna run straight into Jamila and the bot lane as well. Hera taking quite a bit of damage coming from Jamila. But look at that, like, Hylos is just one irritating thing to deal with. Similarly to Grok, a lot of damage because of second skill. She's got the stun, and I'm pretty sure she can actually get the kill here. She's gonna drop the heal, and that's gonna allow her to dive a little bit, get the first blood off. And Jamila had absolutely nothing she could do against this Hylos. She's got the flame shot, but that's pretty much it. Like, you can push him back, but it's just gonna come straight back at you. Terisla gonna be harassing that Lapu, making sure that he doesn't push too far out into the lane. Meanwhile, Granger, as well as Diggy, taking up a very aggressive position to pressure that Sivana back into it. Once again, no MM on the side of the MLBB, which is really interesting. Seeing how much pressure they are getting. Sarah's gonna get completely destroyed by Team, and it looks like they're gonna not only stop this, they're gonna push down the mid lane. That's gonna be mana regen boots coming in for the Selena. So I correct my words. I didn't notice there's actually a Roger in that, so that's pretty much the MM. They're putting the MM down the mid lane, which is a very old strat, right? MM's down the mid lane. They used to try to put a lot of farm onto the MMs, trying to get them online as fast as possible. But I think in this current meta, or rather the meta for the past year or so, has been, mage down the mid. The reason being, it's easier for them to rotate to the mage buff. They get the blue buff quicker, they level up quicker, and mages just come online compared to marksman, right? Once they get the level 4, they're pretty much able to burst anyone down, and this is why you see a lot of teams nowadays, or in fact every team nowadays, try to put the mage down the mid lane, get them to level 4. You rotate quicker, you gank the side lanes, you give your marksman that space and freedom to farm in the opening like 5 to 10 minutes of the game, which is what Team is doing, right? You put the Terisla down top lane as an off laner, you get the Granger down to the bot lane, and he's able to just farm freely alongside another tank. And this time around, it looks like Sivana's gonna get a little bit of damage. She's got the cosmetic lens, but I don't think she's able to do anything much. Meanwhile, the MYA is doing an absolute fantastic job at ganking the top lane, although they do lose both the Grok as well as the Sivana. I think they actually die for it, because I do see the Grok dying in the top side. Hylos now coming into mid lane. And Hera's already at level 6, so I don't think we have seen her really use the glorious pathway yet. But that's going to be a big issue for the MY team to deal with, because they have heroes which are not really that mobile, right? You look at Rafaela, you look at Lapu, you look at Roger, especially Sivana as well. None of the heroes have something that can actually dodge it. And look at that, instantly Abyssal Arrow right onto the Sivana, just jumping right onto the Terisla. Not even there, they don't even need the Terisla, they've got a 2 kills straight off. Ink just bursting up, and they might get the Roger as well. And here comes Sivana, a little bit late to the party. And Jamila's gonna run for it, while 3 members of the MYAs once again gets picked up. Chewbacca couldn't push the top lane fast enough, and now they're gonna lose the middle side. And this is starting to look very similar the story that these two teams had in the first game, where we see Team starting to ramp that snowball up. You know, they're starting to look really dangerous in team fights. They're catching out members of the ThemyAce. And a lot of big items coming up for the side of Team right now. Soon coming down to bot lane. Time reversal as well, just to make sure they get out with the movement speed. They nearly get the Granger. One more hit, but that is not enough, and Selena's will be able to secure the Q onto the Roger. Now Jamila coming in with a rival, but I'm not too sure if that is what you want, or rather Blood coming with a rival and catching out Sylvana. Team not taking off their foot off the gas just yet, and now they're going to be able to pick up that turtle. It's gonna be pushing up the top side, and I gotta say, like, as much as the ThemyAce are, you know, getting a lot of bursts, or rather getting a lot of engagements that they're not favorable with, once again, like, the penalties are just catching out the right members. It managed to catch out Aisha, you know, the Abyssal Arrow landing onto the Grok at the right time, stunning him up. And you see a completely different contrast with the way Team and the ThemyAce are rotating, because the Team is just pulling them into all these wrong rotations. And I was just about to say, like, as much as the ThemyAce do not want to go into all these team fights, it's just so hard, because, you know, Team is just rotating so quickly. You know, they're pushing out the lanes as fast as possible. They're trying to end the games as quickly as they can. And this doesn't even allow the Roger to enter the late game. Selena with the Abyssal Arrow not landing anything, but the Death Sonata from Ying is just kind of sending that warning to the ThemyAce, who now has to contest for the blue buff. I'm not sure if they might be able to get it. Hera already dropping to half health. A little bit of an overextension down does drop the heal. And now here comes the penalty zone from Blood. Will stun up the Lapu and instantly gets blown up. Meanwhile, the rest of Team, even without the high loss, still finding all these fights. 8 minutes in, 7k goal lead for the side of Team. Looking to end it here with game 2. Remember, this is a best of 3 series. I'm not sure if Ing can get out of this. Yes, she can. She might be able to use us the flash just in time. And here comes the rest of Team. They want a reversal on it. Gets pushed back with the flame shot. Jamila pushing back Blood, but they will pick up the Grok. And that's going to be a consolation prize for losing the Digi. Digi is going to review the position. They get a shot onto Diane. Meanwhile, mid lane, Jamila facing the 1v1 with Ing. He's got a healing buff. Death Sonata coming in. That's quite a bit of decent damage. But Jamila being able to run out just in time. Meanwhile, bot lane, 3v2. And with Lot coming up just on time, they might do one more push before going for Lot. They might be able to set up a trap here. There's just so much Arsenal and Team's kit that's available to them that they can just try to get those kills in. The only way that I see this, you know, going in the ThemyAce favor is if Sylvana can land a good Imperial Justice. They might be able to find one good team fight, because they have that decent AoE damage, especially with Lapu and Sylvana. But look at that, they're having trouble breaking Blood down, similar to what they had in game 1. They've already gotten a lot, and Team they now look to push both the middle and bot lane. Lapu doing a bit of slip pushing down on top side. Tim coming down the middle side. You see Terisla just constantly at the front line. They might be able to get the Grok here. And yes, they do. The front line is down. Jamila trying their best to do damage on the front line, but it's just not enough. And Terisla once again with the first kill slams down that hammer. And they will not only get a 4-man kill from the side of the MLBB, they get the second tier turret as well. They might get the game here. With the Lord pushing in the bottom side, they land the Abyssal Arrow, and this is pretty much GG. They should get the Lapu Lapu, and this is pretty much it. That's gonna be game. That's gonna be 2 in a row. And that is GG for the side of MLBB. Unfortunately for them, this is the end of the journey. But game 2, man, what a game from Tim. I gotta say, they just look so fantastic coming into this matchup. No mistakes there. Similar to what we saw in game 1. I can't think of a moment which I think they even had any trouble at all handling what the MLBB had to put on the table. They just did so well throughout the entire game. And they were just fantastic throughout. So that being said, I think it's pretty much it. It's gonna be Team Tim picking up that game. They're going into the second round. So I gotta say, congratulations to Team Tim. They were just so clinical throughout the entire game, similar to what we had in game 1. Like I said, unfortunately for MLBB, this is the end of the journey for it. Hopefully they will do better in our coming tournaments. FSL, it's a year-long circuit. We still have a year end that's going on, so hopefully they will still keep in touch with us. With that being said, Team will proceed into the next round, which I'm sure they will be up against Bidadari Esport. That should be the next opponent. Meanwhile, we have one more game for you that's will be happening today. That's gonna be Lilith up against Alpha Gaming. I talk about them. I'm very excited for these two teams. But just a little bit of an update, we also have Raid 7's BAM that will be playing against Red Roses, Dreams that's going to be playing against Potato, and Asterix is going to be playing against the winner of the game between Raid 7's BAM as well as Red Roses. We'll go for a little bit of a break, but when we are back, we'll bring you more MLBB.